Well, my name is Chris, Christopher John Battrick, but most of my friends call me Chris. The Lindquist family invited me to work here about 15 years ago. This April will start my 16th year with the firm. And prior to Lindquist, I worked in the Pacific Northwest and in Northern California. Graduated from Mount Hood, which has a funeral service program in Oregon near Portland, and it was a great opportunity to learn. And I'm honored to be able to serve in this capacity as a funeral director. So, I don't really know of anybody who wakes up one morning and says, I want to be a funeral director when I grow up. It wasn't on my radar at all. In fact, I was trying to become an engineer. Anyhow, early on in my working history, there was the dot-com bubble bursting and tech jobs, just, lots of people getting laid off. And the company nearby where my family was, where other family members were employees, they started laying people off and my job got outsourced. So at that time I was trying to figure out what to do with life. My wife and we had our first baby on the way, and anyway, I got invited to come down to the mortuary and help with a funeral service because it was a large funeral, a large gathering, and extra hands were needed. And at the end of that funeral service, the owner of the mortuary walked down the hall and said, "Hey, how would you like to be a funeral director apprentice?" and invited me to join their operation. And so I needed work, and I hadn't considered that as a career, but looking back, I'm grateful for the circumstances that put me there, because I can't imagine doing anything different. This is of tremendous value to me personally, having experienced deep personal loss a number of times. Being able to kind of give back to the community and serve other people who are hurting has done wonders for my heart. I grew up in Corvallis, Oregon, and spent most of my early years in Oregon. When it was time for me to go to school and get my degree and finalize my training, I went to Mount Hood, and it's an associate's program. Most funeral service education and mortuary science programs are associate degrees, at least west of the Mississippi River. So that was where I graduated back in 2008. And prior to that, I'd been an apprentice and a manager. And since then, I've worked in Washington, Northern California, and now here in Utah. I was also in the Oregon Army National Guard, so I was in the military for 9 years and did that concurrently with funeral service. And that was pretty special. It was difficult, but it was an opportunity to serve fellow soldiers' families that were in great need. And since that time, I've remained on an honor guard. So one of the other licensed personnel here and I are both on the Combined Veterans Honor Guard, and we specialize in helping military families experience that final tribute, that final salute that means so much to so many people. One of the benefits of being in funeral service in Utah is that we're a state that requires you to be licensed in both of the major areas of funeral service. Funeral service in many places gets divided into funeral service providers that are interacting with families, helping with funeral services, etc. And the other side is embalmers and other preparation type folks like cremationists, cemeterians, whatnot. Here in Utah, in order to be licensed, you have to be licensed to do both. You're a licensed funeral service provider, you're a licensed embalmer. And embalming, of course, that's a sanitary, preservative, and restorative process. And that's one area where I feel like Lindquist staff really shines. We've been well trained, and we do a really, really good job. What we do here is not for everybody. It's kind of sacred, though. It's special. It's the last act of service that we get to provide someone in terms of their care, and so that's something I take a lot of pride in. Also a certified crematory operator and cremation specialist. I have an insurance license, so I do funeral advance planning for for clients, and also enjoy writing obituaries and helping design headstones. Really, if it has anything to do with final care, we do it. Well, I mentioned earlier I've been in Utah for 15 years, so I'm a transplant from the Pacific Northwest. My wife grew up in Utah, but then was in different areas of the country and then has come back. Together, we have 11 children. We love to sing together. We love to hike. We both try to be involved in our community in different ways, and we derive a lot of joy from that. That's a great question. I am bilingual. I speak Spanish fairly decently. I had the privilege of learning that when I lived in California about 26 years ago, and I roomed with Spanish speakers from all over the world, so I kind of have an eclectic blend of different accents maybe, but for the most part I'm bilingual. I do enjoy languages, studying languages as a hobby, so there are other languages that I dabble in a little bit, but Spanish is one that I can definitely speak. That's a really good question. There are a number of families that I've served over the years who really stand out in my mind, and it might have been the way that the family put their celebration together, something unique that they did, or it might be their qualities and characteristics, but some of the most emotional ones were young parents who'd lost a little one, or somebody who died tragically in an accident, and nobody was really prepared, and it was just very taxing on the family, and we bonded. We got really close. It's an honor to help guide people through this difficult time, and to be a good listener, and to help others understand their options, and to educate people about what we do. Just being here for other people, I think, is the most meaningful thing for me. When families take the time and the energy to prepare in advance, and they treat each other with patience and kindness, that stands out. And I think everybody's grieving, and we all grieve in different ways. But I think a family that takes an opportunity like a loss to really pull together and care for each other, that's the most memorable thing. And I've been blessed to be witness to that many, many, many times over the last quarter century. I've lived in Utah for 15 years, so my first 10, almost 11 years was up in Pleasant View. And just by virtue of being in that area, I think I met more families in need, both at our Lindquist North Ogden location as well as here at our Lindquist headquarters location in Ogden. I then lived down in Utah County, which is a bit of a commute, and kind of became a roaming director for the company. So I actually make arrangements at all of our locations on a pretty regular basis. Now I live in Syracuse, so Lindquist Syracuse Mortuary is just a few minutes from my home, and I meet families there. Lindquist and Roy, Bountiful, Kaysville, you name it. I've been in all of those locations, and I regularly go to them. Gosh. I know what 3 words some of my coworkers are probably thinking, but the ones that I hope come out would be caring, compassionate, and considerate. I'm here because my life was touched by funeral service, outstanding people in funeral service, and continue to do what I do because I really care. And I love people, and I want to help them. And this is a great place to be if you care about others and you're really trying to make a difference. So that's what I would think of. My organizational skills probably not in the top 3, to be honest, but I have a lot of heart.